And good morning, everybody. It is Fabulous Friday featuring Andy Arbuthnot. Now, Andy, I met you with Astrid. In fact, I didn't met you in person yet, but I met you while you were on one of these podcasts with Astrid, and I loved it. And straight away, I have used something that you shared.
Okay.
And so I can only imagine that when I come to see you in Ireland and watch your presentation, just how much more wonderful, valuable information I will glean from that. So I'm excited about that, to meet you in Ireland. Now, Andy, tell everybody what you do. Share with us.
Okay. Firstly, you're excited about meeting me. Your life must be very boring. So basically my life has been a roller coaster of many things. I have worked in sales and sales management primarily for the last 24, 25 years. And within that, I've worked at various levels. I've worked for various companies. I've worked at rep level. I've worked at management level. I've worked at regional, whatever. I've trained sales teams and all that over the years. And I just love it. So I still am involved in that to an extent. But whenever it comes to what I do now, I'm a hypnotherapist, obviously. I am a coach and a trainer. I still run sales courses and sales trainer stuff like that. But basically over the last 24 years, 25 years, I've worked for various industries, various companies, like big named companies, and I've gained a lot of experience from that. And the main thing I've learned from it is no matter what it is you're selling, or what you're trying to portray or give across or promote, the only way it really works is if there's an emotive reason for the person to buy. Yeah. So whenever it comes to anybody buying something, if you're trying to sell stuff, you very rarely succeed. You know, if you're trying to just bang, 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 hit the nail in, you will hit a nail in, but it won't be a repeat thing. You know, like I could teach people how to do very hard sales very quickly, and you'll feel disgusting. So it's one of those things. It's not a nice thing. What my whole presentation is about and what I'm talking about at the conference is, and I'm glad you got something out of what I said. I appreciate that. But the whole thing of what I'm trying to say is nobody likes to be sold to, but everybody likes to buy. So what do I mean by that? Well, if you think about it, if you've experienced a sales process that you find particularly pushy or particularly in your face, it isn't nice. And often, yes, you might buy from that person, but you'll never buy from them again. And you won't talk favorably about them to other people or the experience. Whereas if you're able to generate a buying environment, you never have to sell anything. So what I've learned and what I've taught people how to do over the last many years is to generate a buying environment. So the way you do that is mostly by emotion and by being enthusiastic. If you're sitting there talking like this here, yes, I can help you, you know, and, nobody's going to be nobody's coming near you, right? But if you're over the, not over the top, like I worked in telesales as well for years. And if you've never walked into a telesales office, it's full of loonies. Because what actually happens is it's over the top. It's people who you'd swear are on some form of something because it's literally over the top. But the reason for that is quite simple, and they train it into you, is that whenever it comes to communication, only 7% of communication is the words that you use.
Yeah, that's right.
So everything else, that 93% is how you say it and the way you say it. Yeah. So that's through body language, but also through how you say it.
Yes, the feeling, isn't it? It's the feeling that people get.
But if you're like having a conversation with someone over the phone, a simple thing like smiling when you're talking, people know when you're smiling when you're talking, you know, or every now and again having a giggle or a laugh, getting on like you're having a fun time, even if that person you're talking to is having the shittest time ever. If you can get them to giggle a little bit, they get confidence that you're the right person to help them.
Yeah.
So, so that's kind of in a nutshell what I teach people how to do. And I've done it for years in various companies in various ways. And with that, part of the experience that I've had has been, I remember one experience where they tried to get us to talk about the benefits of a map to a sat nav, why it was better, and why maps were cheaper, and they wanted to do that, but the likes of sat navs were a bit more expensive, and they wanted the reason why. And one of the guys who did it really, really, really nailed it home, because he said, imagine you were having to tell the family, as their manager, of someone who had died from trying to read a map while driving and crashed. Right. And everybody just was like, he didn't just go there, did he?
Yes, he
but
did.
At the same time, it was like, that's a really good, compelling reason why, if you're looking at something on a screen and it's telling you where to go, you can concentrate on driving. And the guy was like, yeah, that's a brilliant idea. We're going to, and it was so impressive. But that was the emotive reason for doing that. It was a much greater expense, but it was the better thing to do, because it saved an emotional thing.
Well, and also map reading. I mean, I remember my parents screaming and shouting in the car because my mum was sending my dad all over the wrong place. And the arguments, there was always so many arguments with maps.
Yep.
The olden days.
bringing back horrible memories for me.
I'm sure that's just brought back. Yeah, I mean, literally. Isn't that interesting?
It is, yeah.
It was like, we were like going,
yeah. In the back going, oh, please stop. But yeah. No, but that's basically in a nutshell what I'm talking about. It's more than that. There's a few things that I have. I'm going to teach people how to, what a brief sales process is. Because yes, you can go into fancy dancy sort of step-by-step, like formulaic ways of doing it. But in actual fact, you don't need that. All you need to know is that the basic steps that you can flick through and refer back to, just so that people know that there is a bit of a science to being able to convince someone. And within that, there are also certain psychological things that I go into with the likes of the principles of influence. Have you read any of Robert Cialdini's work?
I have not, but quite clearly I ought to.
It honestly, so it was a game changer for me. So whenever, and this was probably 15 years ago.
Right.
And it basically talks about the principles of influence. And Robert Cialdini is a psychologist and a scientist, and his whole interest was in what makes people do what they do. And it basically comes down to 6 principles that I use and implement and have done in everything I do. Now, I'm not saying that you have to use all 6 all the time, because that's nearly impossible. Mm-hmm. But if you know the principles behind how they work and how you can implement that into your business, one of the simple ones that everybody knows is social proof.
Okay.
Testimonials, that type of thing. The 6 principles are liking, reciprocity, social proof, authority, consistency, and commitment and consistency and scarcity. But if you are able to involve those into any sort of communication that you have, and people don't realize this, even though they probably know it, but every communication you have with someone is a selling opportunity.
Yeah.
Whether it's I always favor the covert way. To quote a friend of mine, Kenny Faulkner, sneaky is best.
Yeah.
If you can get under the radar and have them come with you, it's far better to have someone make the decision to come to you than try and drag them.
Yeah, I think I prefer that, to be honest.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I've been doing for the last 25 years, is being sneaky.
There you go. That's what Bob Burns is. That he goes sneaky, the sneakeroo, the sneaky.
Yeah, it is. He's right. He's 100%. He's 100% right. But in
a really loving way.
Yeah, because especially with what we do, you and I had a conversation before this, and it was like one of the things that's very important is, we can help people, but if there's reasons why they want to object, whenever it comes to, like you were talking about someone saying, about some sort of, well, I'll go into it in very small detail, but the likes of, an issue with pricing. Mm-hmm. My whole thing is if you start going into a price war of, oh, well, I can do it for this, you've lost, because in actual fact, you've instantly devalued what you do.
Yeah.
Whenever it comes to, well, this is what my price is, say it clearly, and the reason why, because you've got many years of experience, many years of training, many years of expertise. And the main thing that I believe with this type of work is if someone isn't buying into it, they're not ready.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I say, when you're ready.
100%. It's like, I use that a lot. You know, if someone comes to me, and I said this on the interview I had with John as well, and John has this uncanny knack as well, and I mean this without sounding in any way arrogant, but it's like, if someone comes on the phone, 99% of the time they're coming to see me.
Yeah.
And it's basically, if they're not ready or I don't want them, I push them. I get them to go away, but leave them with enough information that they're enthused. Yeah,
no, I agree. I pretty much always, you know, the person comes to see me.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. And unless literally it's like, and then that's fine as well. Go when you're ready. In fact, I just had one the other day. She go, I'm ready now.
Yeah.
Isn't that cute?
Yeah.
I want people to be ready. They need to be ready for change. And
they do need to be ready. That's right. But I suppose, you know, whenever you think about anything to do with selling, and a lot of people, it's like, we all want more clients and we all want to do more and help more people. And that's good. Whenever it comes to it, one of the things I talk about I will be talking about in April is how you can enthuse someone. Tell them what you do without telling them what you do. So what does that mean? Right? Who knows? I just made it up. But
there's the benefits, I suppose, without actually the how.
So what I do with that, and I am being facetious when I joke like that, but basically the whole thing with it is, if you can demonstrate what you do through example, you're always one, giving social proof, going back to these principles. You're always giving the authority because I am good at this. You're always given the liking, because what you're doing with that as well is, there was a thought came into my head there and it just stopped because I was nearly going to say something and I caught myself on, because I'm a lovely chap and I don't use foul language, but I was, I'll amend what I was going to say. If you're a bit of a dick, you're going to, and believe me, that's the tone. That's a
nice word.
Yeah. But you know, you can still learn how to change this around. You know, it's show by example. Most importantly is, you know, you can do it without giving too much information. Like there's a couple of things that I do. I talk about a personal story to me about how hypnosis helped me and how a friend of mine used my process. But then I do that, and then I go into a story about a lady that I had who came to see me, and this is a true story, but I'm always very careful not to use her name. But sorry,
I said I agree.
Yeah. No, and if I'm speaking to someone from where I live, in like my hometown or close to, I don't really give any name at all because it's too close. And this lady has sent me so many clients, it's unreal. But you know, I give an example of how in one session I was able to get rid of that to a certain degree. And you're basically just giving them examples of why they should come and see you.
Yeah.
But you're not saying I can do this and I can do that because.
No, that's right. Yeah. This is what happened with this person.
Yep. Yeah. And it's basically selling without selling. You're basically giving yourself that, proving your ability, really, you know, by telling what you do. So little things like that, but also stories sell. You know, if you look at anything, like if you look at any major brands throughout the world, they all have a story.
Yeah.
That's what sells the brands.
I've almost sadly got quite a few stories, but they're my reason, they're my purpose. And actually, you're quite right, because all I say to a lot of my clients is, well, I get referrals from psychologists and therapists, you know, and now doctors. They send me their clients or their patients, and they go, oh, okay, you know. So actually, and they are good clients. They are ready, you know.
But they're already sort of in the mindset of, this is the right person for me.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't need to do anything because they got the go ahead from the therapist or the doctor. So
yeah.
It's
So so whenever it comes to the likes of what I do, and what I'll be talking about at the conference, because obviously let's keep it about the conference, because I think you and I could go on for quite some time, Claudia.
Yes,
so,
no doubt.
Most of what we're talking about is how to utilize certain things. Like most people will know this, you'll know this, about building rapport, going into certain things like eye accessing cues towards and away from motivations, matching and mirroring, that type of stuff, how that all can be effective and used to your advantage. And that doesn't even necessarily mean physically. It can be used verbally as well, by, matching predicates and stuff, So, yeah, but no, that's in a nutshell, basically what I want people to do is come and experience. Well, I'll talk a lot about what my experience has been, because I have worked for some horrible companies, and I have done some difficult sales jobs. But the most important thing that is getting people to realize is sales doesn't have to be icky. Just when, because if you think about it, there are still people that I talk to whenever I say, oh yeah, I've worked in sales for years, and you can almost see them recoil. You can almost,
okay, yeah,
and then I'm like, well, I'm not going to, yeah, exactly. But I'm not going to change my background, because it's something that I've done and, still do. And it's being able to enthuse people in a very effortless way and get them to buy, as opposed to push them into selling, because you don't want, the more you try and convince someone to do something, the less you're likely to bring them on board.
Yeah.
Big time. I always use the same example of we were trying to buy my wife and I were trying to buy a new vacuum cleaner, and we had there's no advertising limitations on here, is there? But we had a Dyson, and we went in probably to buy another Dyson, right?
Yeah.
And we went into Curry's over here, and or other stores are available, but we went into a retailer, and the guy in the shop, I said, look, we're looking for this. We've had this. And he went, right, okay. And my wife just happened to go, what about this one over here? And she just liked the look of it, right? It was white and it had blue lights and it was fancy and it was nice. And he said, no, you don't want that one. You don't want that one. You want a Dyson. Come on over here. And he just ignored what she said and was trying his hardest to push a Dyson. And then at the end of the day, we ended up buying the white one with the blue lights.
Yes, because pretty, and she likes blue and white.
Yeah, and it was one of those things where she dug her heels in and went, if you just addressed what I'd said,
yeah, interesting,
I could have made my own decision. But because you tried to sell me something, I went, nah. And to be fair, we are one and the same. We do exactly the same thing. We are very, very stubborn people. And if we think someone's trying to push us, we go exactly the other way. So it's like, but I think most people are the same.
I do. Yeah. People don't want to be pushed to it. It's like, oh, you get turned off now. Because there is so much.
Yeah. But that's the thing. A lot of people think when there's competition about, you have to be on it. And yeah, you do. But you have to do it. Yeah,
but what makes you different?
Exactly. It's using your personality. The most important thing you have is who you are, and someone will like that. There are people who don't like me, hard to believe.
I can't imagine that.
No, but there are, because there's believe it or not, there's one or two. But it's like, do you know what I mean? It's like sometimes just personalities don't gel. Yeah. And that can be to do with, even simple things like rep systems not matching or whatever, But it's being able to manipulate that slightly is what I want to talk about. But yeah, so that's
I'm looking forward to it. So I've not been to Dublin before.
Okay.
I've been to Ireland. So I am looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to meeting a whole load of new people. You've been to the Irish Hypnotherapy Conference before?
Every year.
Okay, so. Yeah. This is its third year, so
I made that sound like it was 20 years, but no, 3 years, yeah.
Because you're only 23, right? So
plus 21.
So, and I'm quite a bit older than that, but it's I am. I'm 56.
Are you?
Mm-hmm.
You had a very easy paper round, didn't you?
Downhill. I think there's some kind of I think on video, I don't know why, I just look a little bit less lined. So when 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 you see me in person, you'll go, oh yeah. You'll go, oh yeah, I get that.
That's like that Roald Dahl movie. What's that one? Yeah.
The wolf or whatever.
No, but no, it's yeah, the 3 years I've been there, and it's been a fantastic experience. Like, I would like to enthuse people to come along, because if you're sitting on the fence, get off the fence. Simply because when I came along, yeah, initially I was a little bit apprehensive, because I was going, I don't know anybody. Oh, right. I have met some of the best friends in my life.
Yeah, that's what I love. I love the you know, all the connections and the relationships that you build. So I'm looking forward to it. And I do know quite a few people, because I've met them. There's quite a few Americans coming over. So, you know, and obviously I'm in North Carolina, so I'm coming over, and then I'll nip to England and see family and friends. Yeah. So that'll be fun. You're talking on the sales thing. And I'm talking on the Bunny Talk process.
Yes.
I'm going to be showcasing that. And so really, we encourage anybody, if you're in the area, and even if you're not in the area, to come along to the Irish Hypnotherapy Conference, because it's going to be a blast. It will be good fun.
Well,
and I know lunch is included.
Lunch is included. Evening meal on Saturday nights included. Tea and coffee is included.
And
one of the things. There's entertainment. That's right. Yes, I think Jason O'Callaghan is doing a show on the evening, and then there's usually frivolity that goes on into the late little hours. But yeah, I think one of the things that I would encourage people to say as well, and I think I've mentioned it before, but whenever you meet all like-minded people, you always learn something, and your confidence just goes through the roof. You know, it really does.
That is priceless.
Yep.
You cannot put a price on that.
Nope.
The feeling, the elevated feeling of knowing that, because it's the affirmation of, you might see a lot of these that, you know, when you're listening to other people's speakers, and then you're going, I do that. Oh, I can tweak that. Oh, I like that bit, but I do that. I do that. Oh, good. And they all do it too. And then you actually, you're quite right. That belief in yourself literally goes through the roof. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's what happened to me after the first conference. You know, whenever I went, it was just like, oh my God, it was like I didn't shut up for about 6-8 weeks.
My goodness.
But I told you about this. I told you about
her wife.
Her wife. She actually puts a timer on her phone and goes, there's 10 minutes, go. And she sticks to it. So
I know I could talk about hypnotherapy forever as well. I must be, you know, but anyway, we can't help it, because we love it and we're passionate about it, and it helps people because it works. So there you go. So yeah, gotta love it. Anyway, thank you for being on here, and thank you everybody for watching. I really do appreciate it. And Andy, I will look forward to seeing you. It'll be, as I say, it'll be great fun. And so thank you for watching, everybody. And it's goodbye from me, Claudia Ricard, and it's goodbye from.
It's goodbye from me, Andrew Arbuthnot.
Take care, everybody. Thank you for watching.